Anymore. We're good. We're live. I have a question for you guys. I have a question that I really want you to ponder, and it is how many times has money held you back or caused you stress?
Hmm.
What if today we could show you how to change that?
That's a big shift
Yes,
because
it
I
is.
remember starting out, and that was a constant stressor for me for many years.
So, Andrew, what is everybody on here, all these beautiful, beautiful individuals, what are they going to get out of today?
So by the end of today, we're going to show you how to break free from financial stress. It doesn't mean that you will be free of financial stress. It just means you know some actions to take. And then you're going to know the next step to start building your financial freedom. So it's one step at a time. And we're going to show you how to start building your momentum in your life and business to get at least one step closer to where you want to go. So on today's Life by Design, episode 8, can you believe we're already in day 8 of 365? Let's
This
go,
year is
brother.
going by real fast. All right. I'm gonna put some of your comments, guys. Spam the thing with comments. We just want to see you guys. We want to hear you guys and get to understand every single one of you. And William, you are right. This is another daily dose of Life by Design. It is your, it is your daily hit of good crack. There is no good crack, but we are the good crack. All right. Here we go. My mom's watching this. I can't say crack. Anyways, what we're going to go over today is money stress and scarcity, how to absolutely overcome that, how to overcome money stress, and how to really build the cash flow that gets you out of this same cycle that we talked about yesterday, which is the cycle of being stuck. And I wanted to start with a quick story of when I was first an entrepreneur. I was working multiple different jobs until one day I said, you know what? I did my first wholesale deal. I can stop working the jobs that I was working before, and I could jump in. And those 6 months were the hardest 6 months, Andrew, that I had ever went through because I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was a hustler, and I've always been a hustler. So I was able to find ways to create income. I was able to do more deals. I was able to sell different things that I had known of what to do at the time. But what would happen with money was I would make a 10K chunk, and that 10K chunk would last me 3 to 4 months, and I'd be right back into trying to make another 5, 10K. And I had so much scarcity because I would hold that so tightly. And if you think of sand, right? When you hold sand so tightly, it starts to seep through your fingers. I didn't understand abundance. I didn't feel that there was more out there. All I felt was this scarcity that if I don't do this thing, it's all going to go away. You felt that, right?
So many times. And for all of you listening to this, episode 8, do me a favor, type in the chat if you have felt at some point major financial stress. Type yes in the chat. I want to get the interactions going. And my objective today is to paint a picture for you. If we do nothing else, maybe we can at least paint a picture for you where 6 months from now, you can know that you can be financially free. 6 months from now, things can be different. If you're not already there, if you're already there, you can be more there. But 6 months from now, what could things look like if you had consistent cash flow? If you were hopping the flight to Bali with me and Leo, or wherever we go next for our annual birthday trips.
And really imagine that, though. Like, be able to close your eyes. You know, we're really big on visualization. We're really big on putting yourself in a position where you can imagine hopping on that flight, and you can imagine. Did it not work for you? Oh, I thought I got it because it worked so heavily. Anyways, I'll fix it.
All good.
All good. Imagine yourself being able to have the money where you don't stress out so much, right? You're a good steward, so as money comes to you, you're able to put it to where you need to put it. You have a treasure chest, like we call it a war chest. You have a war chest that's able to go into the places that you need it to go. You're not stressed anymore. What would your life look like, guys? Put it in chat. What would your life look like if you did not stress about money any longer? That's what you're going to learn today. I'll throw to you, Andrew.
Yeah, so the first thing I had trouble doing when I was starting business was visualizing just what you described, Leo. Because I'm like, what would that look like? Like, maybe I would just not be stressed nonstop. I could go to the restaurant and pay for the table and not worry about it. And the first thing I want to mention is I thought if I'm just hardworking enough, if I just work hard and save more and get ahead one day, that it could really shift my financial position. But I found out that working hard just got me more hard work. And I share that because many of you listening to this, I know our people, and our people are hard workers and go getters. That's who we attract because that's how we are. And so while we're willing to put in the hustle and willing to put in the work and do the thing, it has to be the right work, the right effort toward the right objective to accomplish the right result. And I didn't know what that was. And so it was that lack of clarity going, gosh, I just need to work some more hours. How could I remember Googling how to buy a rental house. And I didn't know anything about real estate. So I'm thinking maybe I could save up money and I could buy one of those real cheap houses in a war zone for $10 or $15 or $20,000 in Mount Vernon, Illinois, and then rent it for a while till I got all my money back. And in a few years, I could maybe one day start building wealth. And then one day I could be really rich and own 30 houses and collect rent one day a month. That was my dream. I was like visioning what my life would be like collecting rent, one house each day of the month.
Right. So, Andrew, the people watching here, they want more than a paycheck. They know that. They're an entrepreneur. They know that they're hungry. They want the true freedom.
Yeah.
They want to be able to travel without just being a budget traveler.
Right.
Right. I was a very budget traveler because I was, my family were budget travelers. We would find the cheapest accommodations, the cheapest flights, the cheapest everything. Yeah. And that created, we'll talk about later, financial trauma for me, where I always looked for the cheapest thing.
Financial scarcity.
And you guys are going to be able to break out of that if you also have that same financial trauma. And I just want to know, type it in the chat, guys, if you have that same trauma where your parents maybe were not the most abundant and you started to talk about money like they did. But you guys are the type of people that want the freedom to take care of your family. You want to not worry about money. You want to travel. You want to give. And you want to build a legacy. But what is holding you back is these 4 things that we're going to jump into really quick before we give you the real sauce that is going to help you break out by the end of this episode. Let's start with number 1 by explaining the scarcity mindset and what it sounds like when you go to a restaurant or you're on the phone with a seller or you're doing a big deal in front of you. Like, what does scarcity mindset sound like in the mind of someone who might be going through scarce thoughts?
So the scarcity mindset for me was at first, I can't get the iced tea. I need to get the water because that's $2. And the other thing it would do would be I start looking through the menu, and that was finding, I wasn't big on fast food, but if I was there, it would be finding that dollar menu back in the day. It would be saying, okay, how do I make sure that I'm spending as little as possible in this scenario? And then I went to one of those real nice restaurants, and it said $13 MP. And I didn't know that meant market price. That was $13. That was not $13 for the whole entire steak. And I had a hard lesson there, nearly overchecked myself. So understanding, living that thing of having to skip the restaurant, having to skip eat out, not only not being able to grab the check for the whole table like you want to, like I wanted to, but having to barely be able to grab my own check.
Absolutely. Who's been there before? You want to pay for the whole table. Maybe this was a few years ago, or maybe it's now, and you really want to pay for the whole table, and it's a $300 tab, and the other people are very slow to give in the card over, and then eventually someone slaps it down on the table. And me and Andrew, we have worked so hard. Andrew taught me this mentality of be the first person, just put it down and just say this is on me, right?
We're always racing for it. When me and Leo go somewhere, always racing for the check.
And that's because I was the slow, like I have my cards all in here, but before I'd have my wallet. So I had an extra step of like going in my back pocket, grabbing the wallet, seeing if anyone else gets. I used to be that person in complete honesty because I wasn't making that much. I had a very scarce mentality that if I spent this, it would be a detriment to me. And it was a very selfish mentality. And that's sometimes what scarcity is. Scarcity is this selfish mentality that there's not enough out there. And if you spend a little bit of yours, then it's not going to be enough for you.
Right.
And I understand you want to protect your family. You want to be there for your family. But when you have this mindset that you're about to walk away with that by the end of this episode, you're going to be able to see things abundantly. You're going to be able to see things as opportunity and say, the more value that I actually bring to other people, that's the more money that's going to come to me. But that is the first thing holding us back. And I want to package the last three in one.
Yeah.
So we can get you guys the sauce. So we can get you guys this abundant mentality, because we have a lot to talk about here. Okay. But fear of failure, a bad relationship with money, and a lack of systems and guidance. Let's talk about that. That is a big thing holding them back. But what does that mean, Andrew?
For me, I think it was my whole identity wound up in saying, okay, can I take care of myself and those around me? And as long as the answer is yes, I feel like I'm at least have a purpose in life. But the moment that answer became no, that means I had failed as a man, as everything in life, as a brother, as a friend, as taking care of my family, everything that I was meant for, I felt like a total failure.
Right.
And so stepping into a place where you are risking failing is sometimes a very scary thing. And for all of you, you're very good at something. Maybe you are working in data at your job. Maybe you're great at selling insurance, or all the things that you may do in your main job, or being great at being a mother or a teacher or a dad or a trainer. You're good at these things and you're confident in them.
Yep.
And then the challenge is when you're moving into something you haven't yet done, the first time you go to buy a property, an investment property, you're now doing something that you're a beginner at. So in this world, you're a level 9, right? You're really good at this thing. But over in this world, you're a beginner. And that's a scary place to be.
And that was you. With business, you were level 9, and fitness, you were level 1.
Yes. And I experienced that in a big way, very big way. And it was made even more real to me recently when you got me to go to the boxing gym and start learning boxing and Muay Thai. And we go there with the trainer, and the trainer's been doing this for many, many, many years.
Right.
And I am going in there as used to being in the professional in our environments. And then I walk into this Muay Thai gym and I'm a level 1 or less. I'm kicking people. I don't know how to do this. So I'm now learning to box. I'm now learning to kick. And I'm doing this at something I suck at. And there's the risk of failure because I feel okay. I've spoke on many stages, hundreds and hundreds of hours, hundreds of times. I feel great about that. I feel great about calling and buying a house. I've done that thousands of times for now our community and myself and us hundreds of times. And so I'm confident in those areas. But the moment you step into what you don't know, you immediately risk failure. When that means, what if I fail? What if I look stupid to all those around me?
So what Andrew is saying as it pertains to money is money has never been something that is openly taught with depth where we can build natural habits with as younger individuals. When we're younger individuals, we learn how to brush our teeth. We learn how to do all these things. We learn how to do all the basics and essentials, and we learn how to talk. We learn how to speak, and we build habits around that. Some people have been the same way they were when they were 18, now when they're 45. We've seen it many, many times. And that's the person who's not a lifelong learner. But all of you guys, you are lifelong learners. You understand the mentality of having a white belt mentality everywhere you go. There's places where you have a black belt mentality, like Andrew in business, but when he came to the gym, he was a white belt. But he had the ability to say, I am a beginner here. So when we look at money and we look at it as a skill set and we look at it as a behavioral challenge, right? It's how we behave with money. It's how we respect money. We don't understand it fully yet. If we have a white belt mentality around it, we don't get so scared of what happens if we lose a little bit, right? Because we're not so attached to the instant outcome. And it's difficult to say because sometimes we have so much emotions around it because our whole family revolves around our income that we create for them. But I'm telling you right now, as you release that and as you learn and break down these two things that I'm about to show you, that is when everything changes for you. And those two things that I really want you to write down, put it in the chat, guys. The two things to develop, the two things to learn when it comes to money is money IQ and money EQ. Write it down. Type it in the chat. Money IQ and money EQ. These are two things that are going to improve by the end of this video, by the end of this live stream that me and Andrew are doing, because we want you to fully understand and grasp the concept. We want you to understand the game of baseball and then go in there and play it, right? But then we also don't want you to learn everything about baseball before you go play a game. We want you to learn while you're in the batting cages. We want you to learn while you're behind the bases, starting the process. So money IQ, guys, money IQ is your intelligence around money. It's your intelligence around taxes, around understanding. It's understanding financial statements. It's understanding expenses, income. It's understanding, how do I improve my income? How do I understand my expenses? How do I read a balance sheet? It's all of these things. It's this financial IQ that you can take a class. You can continue to listen to me and Andrew. You can go to one of our events and you'll learn financial IQ. Now, financial EQ is very different, and Andrew's going to touch on this in just a second. Financial EQ is the emotions that you have attached to money. It's being able to say, okay, I can put my card down and it's going to be okay, right? Because I'm actually investing in these relationships here. And it's also, a deal falls through and I'm not going to shatter myself because my EQ is strong around money. Talk about money EQ, because you actually taught me this at a in a very strong way. And I want to give everyone here the gift of understanding money EQ in the way that you taught me and the way that you actually taught yourself, because you're one of the most abundant people that I know.
Oh, I think it's giving what we most need. Type it in the chat. Give what you most need. So here's the foundation of money EQ for me. That is, give what you most need. When you're low on funds, then you give funds, whether it be to buying the Starbucks card for the person in line behind you, whether it be for paying for the meal, sending a Thanksgiving or Christmas meal to someone you know in need. It's doing the thing and knowing that it's going to be okay. Not because there's abundance in your account right now, but because you know that you've not been starving and it's going to work out.
Okay, but tell that to my 18-year-old self, my 17-year-old self, who was absolutely broke. And I'm like, there's no way. I've only got a couple hundred. How am I going to go spend? Tell that to my 18-year-old self who's listening.
All right, so here's where I'm going to say God taught it to me. Here's where I learned it. The first thing, I'm 20 years old. I just come out of the hospital. I'm tens of thousands of dollars in medical debt. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I have a few dollars in my wallet for the entire week for food. And I'm sitting here and I hear about a family in need at this meeting I'm at. And I hear about a family in need, and they're asking for anybody who will give to that need. And I reach in my wallet, my very sparse, thin wallet, and I pull out a $5 bill. And I trust you will understand where this comes from. You listening to this, if you're newer to us, I think you'll enjoy it and get to know us here. If you have known us for long, you're immediately going to relate to this. I reach in, I pull out a $5 bill, and I hear something says, give 10. There's another $5 bill in my wallet. Like, that's my lunch money. And I'm like, that's weird. Like, put my wallet back up, got my 5. And I hear it again, like it's this overwhelming feeling, give 10. And I'm like, that's really weird. The third time, I'm finally like, whatever, right? I don't know if I was having faith or annoyed or both, but I'm just like, whatever. So I reach in my wallet, I pull the other 5, I close my wallet, I throw the $10, got it done, right? Done my duty, done whatever this thing was that I was being asked to do. I get done, I leave, I don't think any more about it. And I walk out to a bus. We're going on a ride. I hop on the bus, and a lady sits down next to me, and she looks at me, and she says, my name's such and such. What's yours? I said, I'm Andrew. She said, awesome. She said, I have a favor to ask of you. Could you do me a favor? And I'm like, stranger ask you to do a favor? Like, this is also weird, but okay. What can I do for you? She goes, I need you to pray for my son. And my son, his name's Daniel, and she tells me the story about her son. And I listened intently, and I said, absolutely, I'll pray for your son. So I get off the bus, and this whole experience is like so weird. Like this day is weird, right? I get off the bus and I go to walk down the sidewalk, and I feel a tap on my right shoulder. And I turn around, and it's the same lady. And she grabs my hand and she stuffs something in it. She folds my hand and she goes, "God said give this to you." And I'm like, okay, that was also weird. And I open my hand, and laying in my hand is a $50 bill. Now, I'm not the best at math, but I think 5 and a moment later, 50 returning, I'm going, why didn't you say give 100? And I say that jokingly. I know I didn't have the faith to give 100, except that was a lesson to me to say there's always more than enough. If you walk into Bill Gates' house and you're personal friends with him, and you want a cheeseburger, or you want a steak dinner, or you want a pizza, I doubt that you're going to think, oh my gosh, you think he minds if I have this brought in, right? He's not even going to notice the $17 or the $70 charge on his card. He doesn't care. He had you over to his house. You're his friend. And so I want you to start seeing yourself as the king's kids that you are. And my prayer would be that you would step into that abundance, and that lesson that was taught to me in the toughest, brokest time of my life could be passed along, and you could begin experiencing that at 17, 18 years old, or if you're a couple years past that, wherever that may be for you.
You know, every time you tell that, it reminds me of that time when you first told me this story. And I was thinking to myself, okay, how can I do this? How can I figure this out? You know, my walk with God was not as strong as it is now. So I didn't have that full faith that, okay, yes, sure, if I go put money in, it's going to come back, right? It's going to come back with kids. Because I just didn't understand that concept until I started to actually do it. I would go to Starbucks and I would start just spending 10 and say, hey, can you spend on the people behind me? I just started to do that. And as I was building my business, you've seen this so many times, I've come to really hard times in my life.
Yeah.
And I would remember this principle that you told me was give what you most need, right? And I would say it with kind of like a negative smirk of like, oh, I don't want to do that.
Don't want to hear this right now.
But every time I started to realize that when I did that, it wasn't that all of a sudden magically a deal would hit.
Right.
But it's that my mentality around money started to change, and I was able to make calls differently. My way of making money was making calls. I was able to make calls, get a deal, and make a 3 to 5K check.
Yeah.
When I went to Starbucks and I spent that $10 on the people behind me, it just allowed me to view money differently in a non-scarce way. Because when we give what we most need, it allows us to detach from that money and allows us to put good energy into that money. I call it energy for a reason. Good energy into that money, and you're able to have a moment of calm. You're able to have a moment of giving. And when you go back to the work that you're doing logically, you're able to now feel a lot more abundance. That is what changed my life and everything that I've done so far, because I'm always thinking in that type of abundance. There's always more out there. There's always more that we can give. And because we are givers, right? Because we are consistently giving, we're trying to do our best, right? Sometimes we get lost.
Sure.
Sometimes we forget, like, oh crap, we gotta go and look at the giving account, right? We forget some of those things sometimes. But every time we've ever put our heads right back to where it needs to be, okay, what can we do? Right? Last year we did the in June, the giving charity.
Yeah.
Right? We fed 13,000 kids and we brought a lot of great people together. Some of you guys were there. That was such an abundant month for us.
Yeah.
Not because we gave so much, but kind of because we gave so much, because we felt so much abundance that lasted us for a long time. So that story, guys, it reflects the idea of abundance, and it really carves out this idea of giving what you most need. So type in the chat again, give what you most need, because I want you guys to double confirm that you understand that.
For anybody who is hearing this and is in your mind maybe struggling with it, going, gosh, that is a tough place to make the decision. Sometimes I remember growing up, we didn't have a lot of money, but I always remember my dad saying something, and people would talk about giving, and I would see my dad give sometimes and know it was our gas money. Like, I would see him give, though, not because it was maybe needed more than we needed it. I'm looking at us going, gosh, we're the poorest ones here, Pop. But because he was giving from that heart. And people would talk, I'd hear him countless times talking to my dad, and he would say to them, well, I always give to God first, and all 6 of my kids are healthy, and I'm rich because I wouldn't take $1 million for any of them. And I always remember that saying, or a version of that saying, hearing him say that probably hundreds of times growing up. And it planted that seed in my mind that always made me realize that whether it's money or other blessings, there is abundance all around us as long as we continue to step into them.
Guys, so you're starting to see that me and Andrew both have experienced the scarce mindset. We've both experienced this idea of understanding of abundance, right? And we have things that hold us back. We have financial traumas. We have our parents that have maybe not had the most money. We weren't raised, neither of us were raised in rich families at all.
Mm-hmm.
And we had those limiting beliefs, right? That can we be the people to make the amount of money that we want to make?
Yeah.
Are we worthy of such? Are we as good as those people who are rich and making money and wealthy?
Am I that smart? Can I be that savvy?
Right. You coming from the church background, you probably have some more trauma of like people who don't understand abundance and understand the good of money and what it can come to.
Sure.
Right. And so we all have a little bit of trauma that creates this lack of money IQ and a lack of money EQ. And you've tried different things before. I remember I tried so many courses, but I was just not disciplined enough myself to actually learn the money game, because all of it was like track every dollar that you ever make. And I just couldn't do it. I tried it for 3 days, and all of a sudden I still had the scarcity. I still had the emotional trauma of money. So I was not able to track every dollar, because every dollar I tracked made me more anxious.
Right.
And we've tried different things. We've looked at different YouTube videos. We've tried different hustles. Maybe it's wholesaling. Maybe it's e-commerce. I tried e-commerce. Maybe it's starting a clothing company. I tried a clothing company. And you've tried all these things, but we didn't really address the root issue. And that root issue, guys, is your relationship with money and the systems you built around it were not developed. You were running on a shaky foundation. So our job today has been to help you rebuild that foundation. And today and next week on Monday, that's going to be our theme. The theme of rebuilding your foundation to make sure that 2025, you are set to go. You are ready to run. You are ready to build. You are ready to do the things to get your family out of this financial trauma and finally break what we call that generational curse, which is simply the way your family thinks about money right now. And it is up to you to break that curse. So really bear with us, Andrew. Let's say we have another 15 minutes here to introduce this concept of the shift and really give you the framework of how to think abundantly, but also start creating these streams of income. So not only do you think abundantly, right? You have the money IQ, but also the money is coming in. It does hit the bank account. You are seeing those checks come in. And when you mix that with good money EQ, everything shifts.
And at the end of the day, we're going to give some of you, I know some of you already are, some of you the opportunity to come hang out with us for 3 days in person. So if you're excited to make 2025 your best money year ever, just type in the chat money. I want to get some money excitement going here.
That's what I'm talking about.
So what's that shift look like?
So the shift is not, and I'll say this, it's not about just hustling harder. Yes, hustling harder helps.
Sure.
Getting in a season of just saying, you know what, let me just put my head down, have some massive discipline.
Do the work.
And just do the work. Let me just do the work. But it's not just about that. It's about thinking like an investor. It's about asking this question that Andrew's about to give you of not asking what's it going to cost, but we'll talk about in a minute. It's about creating systems and redefining freedom with money. Write it down. Redefining freedom with money. And we're going to talk about that really in depth with this framework of number 1, adding value. Number 2, multiply, and number 3, give, which we talked about very shortly. But where
Absolutely.
does your head wrap around? Let's just free game it as we have this structure, but free game it and giving them as much sauce as we can in the next couple of minutes here.
Yeah, I want you to type in the chat, what can it make me? People of wealth, we don't ask what it costs. We always ask what it can make us.
Write that down.
What can it make me? If I asked you, how many of you would be excited to spend $50,000 today? Probably no one would be excited with that question ending there. However, if I said to you, I have a house and it just appraised for $300,000, but this person is willing to sell it today for $50,000. Already title clear, title insurance is in place. All you have to do is wire the $50K to title. Now, who on this live stream could come up with $50,000 within 24 hours from yourself, business lines of credit, a friend, family member? Shoot, call me. I'll be your partner.
Type in the chat if that's you.
Yes. So you now realize it doesn't bother you to, quote, spend money or invest money. It's the fear of, is this the right place to put it? Because when we know it's coming back, so understanding it doesn't matter what it costs us, it matters what it can make us. And if I can put out $50,000 on a house that just appraised for $300,000 as is, I'll take 10. And so understanding that, type it in the chat, flow of money. Flow of money is everything.
Flow of money. Write that down, guys. The flow of money. It's so interesting as we start to relate things to nature, right? Like water, we start to relate to the trees, all these different things. There's a book I read called Happy Money. It's by Ken Honda. It's a really incredible book.
Happy money.
But this book talked about the energy of money. How basically I said, Andrew, show me your wallet. Yeah. I know you don't have a wallet right now, but show me your wallet. Boom. I take the wallet. Right, let's see. Boom. Oh, let me not show. I was about to show to the I look at your money, right? And there's no cash in here, but let's imagine there's cash. I'm looking at this and I start chuckling. I say, this is good, Andrew. This is good. Hand it back. Andrew's going to be like, what the heck did you just, what was that? I'm going to tell them, your money is smiling.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine I'm an old Japanese lady. Your money is smiling, right? And what I'm going to have known is that money has energy. It's either smiling, it's laughing, it's joyful, it's enjoying, whatever you want to call it, or it's crying, right? And let me take this as an example. Because do we have cash? We have cash over there.
Somewhere.
I don't need it. We don't need it. But if I, Andrew, wanted to buy this teacup from you and it was a $50 teacup,
yep.
Okay? And if I bought it like
nice
with the energy of, this is going to hurt my family. I can't believe I'm doing this. Oh, I better not tell my wife. I better not tell my kids. Oh no. What if I do this and I give you the $50 bill? Imagine that this is the $50 bill. Boom. Okay. That money is crying. Just bear with me, guys. It was a really interesting book. That money is crying. It was not a good transaction. It was not happy money. But let's just say, he told me a great story about this teacup right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, this teacup. He told me a great story about it, and he said it comes from his great-great-great-grandmother, and there's a beautiful story behind it. And it's a $10 teacup. And I'm just so excited about it. I look at this teacup. I'm like, this is the coolest thing in the world. Can you guys see this? Actually, really cool. I got this from 99 Ranch near me. But I'm like, Andrew, this is the best teacup ever. Here's the $10. Boom. Take it. It's yours. I'm so excited. Awesome. That money.
Close the sale.
That money is happy money. So I have a question for you. The money that's in your bank account right now, the money that is in your wallet, is it happy money? Is that money smiling, or is it crying because every time you spend it or every time someone gives you money, it's crying. It's bad energy. It's like, I don't want to spend it. You're holding so tightly onto it. And that's the question I want to ponder with you guys is, are you doing business in a way where you're allowing happy money to come? Are you building your relationships in a way and creating your family in a way where happy money is going to you guys and it's going out to the right places? It's being given to the right causes. You're spending on things that you really enjoy and that will benefit your life. And every time you spend, you're happily spending it Because when you put more happy money out there, when you put more good energy out there, it's always going to come back. Just like the attitudes. If I give Andrew good energy, he's going to give Andrew good energy back. That's this cycle of the current of water, the energy of water, of money, the energy of money.
What you focus on, you get more of. When you focus on lack, you'll always get more. Type it in the chat. What you focus on, you get more of. And this was not ever as real to me as it was. I remember the first time I ever, for an extended period of time, had multiple six figures in the bank account.
Yeah.
And I just, up to that point, I was working day and night going, gosh, if I could just get a little, if I could just like make, paycheck to paycheck, flip to flip, deal to deal, office payment to office payment. I was in the mix of it. And I kept thinking, if I can just get to this number in the bank account. And then I remember getting there and I was so stressed. Like, gosh, what if it goes back down to below this? Like, can I make sure this money doesn't just disappear on me? Like, I felt so panicked and scared because I was focused on lack, because that's who I was. I was a person who, although I had believed and begun to step into abundance, I hadn't fully realized how to own that and let the stress go, to let the negativity go, and know that, hey, I bought a house before, I can do it again. I closed a deal before, I can close it again. I wholesaled a deal last month, I can wholesale one next month. And so you start to now step into being that person rather than thinking, gosh, I must have got lucky. What if this doesn't keep going?
And that, Andrew, is such a good point, because you did not attach money to luck. You attached it to a skill set.
Yeah.
And your skill set is abundant, right? Because you, as every day you were continually making calls, you got really good at negotiations.
Right.
You got really good at understanding a seller and what a seller needs and how to help a seller. Guys, real estate investors who are listening to this, this is for you. Make sure you're listening to this. Andrew, he was able to break out of his scarcity mindset and his fear of loss because every time he made a call, he was building his skill set.
Right.
Every time he built his skill set, every call got better. It was creating more money because he was adding more value to the marketplace. Because his skill set has increased, more value to the marketplace. If we look at each house, let's take Mary. You bought Mary's house and helped her out of a situation, you help Mary. Then you sell this house to Joe, Joe gets a new house. Awesome. In between each of those transactions, how many people got paid, right?
So many.
Attorney, title company, all these people got paid and you got paid. So whenever you walk into town, people are happy because people are going to make money.
Absolutely.
Right? Construction workers are going to get paid. Everyone's going to get paid. So as Andrew's skill increases, as your skill of negotiations, making calls, seller calls increases, your value increases. As your value increases, you make more money. So now you think abundantly because you base it on a skill set, not on your emotions.
Type it in the chat. Build your high income skill.
Oh.
Build your high income skill. This is the thing that, while yes, cash flow is king, and I'm excited as each of you are building your cash flow this year, it is so important to have that high income skill, because as money ebbs and flows and business goes up and down and the market shifts, having the ability to go out and create that value in the marketplace and make others around you be abundant will increase your abundance tenfold.
Absolutely. So guys, so far we've talked about happy money. We talked about this idea of when I am happily giving Andrew money for a transaction, for a service, that money is happy.
And I'm happy too.
And he's happy too. So the money's happy. We talked about money IQ and money EQ. We introduced this new idea of money intelligence, which is good. It allows us to keep learning every single day. And as you guys come back this week, that's what you guys are going to learn. We talked about thinking like an investor, right? Don't ask, what does it cost? Ask, what is it going to make me?
Right.
What can it do for me? Right. Every time that I look at all my subscriptions, right, I always ask, okay, what is this doing for me? The gym membership. It allows me to feel confident. Boom. I attach giving money for confidence. You're paying for confidence. You're not paying for a gym membership for something. You're paying for confidence. You think like an investor everywhere you go. We also talked about building a high income skill.
Right.
When you're doing something every day like Andrew did with making calls, his high income skill of negotiation got to one of the top of the game. And that's why Andrew can hop on a phone call and his hourly wage could be what, like we did the math, like $5,000-$6,000 an hour when
More
you're
than
making
that, but
negotiating
yes.
calls,
Yes.
because he continually built that high income skill. We talked about all that. Now, what I want to give you guys is a redefinition of money. I want to give you guys a redefinition of money, of what freedom really means. Because it's the ability to have enough. But what does enough really mean, Andrew? I want to. It's not on the paper, right? We spent a lot of time on the notes, but what does having enough really mean?
To me, having enough means I can write a check to someone in need without thinking a second thought about it.
Okay.
Means I can grab the check at dinner with friends, family, or people who I care about without thinking a second thought about it.
Okay.
Means if I see someone in need, or means if I want to buy something that will either improve my life in a meaningful way or someone I love, that I don't have to think twice about it.
Right.
That's what freedom is to me. Another big one is I love to travel. We love to go on international trips and have fun building business and doing things. I want to be able to do that without the thought of what it costs. And in fact, to me, it's not only being able to do those things, but have fun doing those things and figure out how to make those things make us money.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up here in about 3 minutes, guys, I want to make sure that you got everything you need to really get on this path of creating abundance in your life.
Yeah.
Because it still does come down to you. It comes down to you as the individual to take all the lessons that we've gone over in the past 8 days and say, every day I just have to build my high income skill. Because of that, I start to grow this abundance. I start to become a higher value individual. Because I'm a higher value individual, I can also increase my confidence. I don't have to be so overwhelmed about all the things that are going on, because now our focus is, hey, let's just get better at this one thing every day. And of course, we teach real estate investors how to be incredibly good on the phones, incredibly confident individuals. We increase their financial IQ day by day with a system that we have created over the past 4 years. And it's really taking Andrew's 10 years and my 5 years, putting it together so you don't have to spend the next 15 years to try to figure out how to create abundance.
Absolutely.
It's borrowing our systems that we've used in our company. It's borrowing our mentalities that we've built over the past 15 years to now have the abundance. And it is keeping you accountable day by day to actually make the calls, to actually do the things that are necessary. So we have spent a lot of time perfecting and crafting an actual experience, not just like this daily live. While I love this daily live, it's incredible. And you guys will continue showing up because I know how much value you're getting. But I want you to be able to spend more time with us. I want you to be here in person where you can, boom, it's face to face, where we can really get to understand what are your limiting beliefs.
That's a game changer.
We'll really get to understand what has been holding you back for so long. Like, what are the things when your head hits the pillow, are you like me where you're like, how am I going to feed myself and my family, and how are we going to get out of this situation?
Yeah.
All those thoughts, how do we get out of them? So me and Andrew, this is the beautiful gift that we have for you guys. I want to give you guys rather the opportunity to spend 3 days with us in February, very early February. We've never done it at this level before, where it's going to be so close to our home. It's going to be very close to us. But for 3 days, we're going to be teaching each and every single one of you how to develop this financial IQ, how to develop the financial EQ, how to get your first or your next real estate deal in such a time where you're every day getting better and building that high income skill. What else are we going to go over in this 3-day event?
I'm going to show you how to GTFM. Type it in the chat.
GTFM.
Who knows what that means?
Get the freaking money.
Get the freaking money, baby.
We're going to give you the confidence of being able to be an operator, a confidence to have the money that is a little bit beyond your temperature right now, a little bit beyond your money temperature. Right now, you may have only made 50 to 100K in annual revenue and in your annual salary. How can we increase that to two, three, $400,000 a year and break that down? If you want to make 200,000 a year, that's 50K a quarter. If you want to make 50K a quarter, I believe that's 16.6K a month, which is one deal, which is a couple of calls and a couple of conversations that you can have to really create the income that you want to create, guys. And we sit back for a minute, and we know you guys have been here. A lot of you guys have known me and Andrew, and you want to have that chance to sit in a room with us, ask us questions, and say, hey, I've been struggling here. What do I do? And have me and Andrew say, this is the plan for you. This is the process. And for 3 days, listening to us drill in what it means to get out of scarcity.
Absolutely.
And what it means to create a strong stream of income for you and your family so you no longer have to stress. So if you want that type of freedom, if you want that type of success where you're no longer worrying and now you're just feeling so good every day, I want you to do this. I want you to go here and text event to that number that you see right there, 940-468-7852. I'll say it again. Text event to 940-468-7852. Me and Andrew put an hour aside here with our team because we wanted to see who actually on here is ready for that. Who on here is ready to hop on this event? This is a $3,000 event, guys, that we brought down because we wanted 2025 to make sure every single person in that room was ready. And even if they had a scarcity mentality coming in, that we can solve that.
Yeah.
So what's that flash sale that we're doing?
So number one, 5 through 7, write it down, February 5 through 7. We're going to be for 3 entire days going over what Leo just told you. And while the investment for those tickets are normally $3,000 because you're here with us live today, you're going to get it for drum roll.
97. Oh,
90. Oh, that's all right.
we skipped the drum roll.
Drum roll. $97. All right. $97 investment. And we'll do you one better than that. Shoot, if you show up the first day and don't like what you hear, come to the back. We'll give you $100 back and you can go. But our objective is to get you there and to get you making money because we want your life of freedom to be what you are meant to do. And an extra $50, $100, $200, $300,000 a year could cause you to live your purpose more fully. And frankly, if we get the honor to be a part of pouring some gas on your fire, then we're serving our mission.
Absolutely, guys. So February 5, 6, and 7, it's going to be in San Diego. Again, text event to 940-468-7852. And those of you who texted in, you're going to get a link to make that purchase for the flash sale. But in addition to that, one person on our team, it could potentially be me and Andrew. We're going to give you a call. I just want to see where you're at. I just want to see how you're doing, right? This gives us a chance to break past the live and say, hey, I see your guys' comments. I see your guys' chats, but let's have a quick chat.
And you have 11 minutes to hit this flash sale, by the way.
Do
We're
we
going to be
only have
calling
11?
you guys.
Oh, at 1.
At 1.
So at 1 p.m.
PST, 4 p.m. Eastern. If you watch the replay, go ahead and text it. But I'm telling you, everybody who texts in the next 11 minutes is who we're calling.
There you go.
So who you're texting, text in, you're going to get the flash sale for $97, and we're going to be calling you. Us and our team's going to be giving you a ring. So make sure you get it in. You get it in now. And I'm excited to see many of you. We're going to have a fun time. Last time we done this, it was not to this level, and it was so much fun because seeing people have breakthroughs. And guys, that's what I want to see for you as you're showing up on these daily lives. I know we have the weekend ahead of us.
Yes, we do. And
Monday's
it's gonna be
coming.
A great weekend.
You guys are going to we got so many special things coming back for you next week. So make sure you just keep showing up every day. Invite your friends and family. Grab your tickets at the flash sale. In the next 10 minutes, grab those tickets and get a call from us. Be blessed. Have a good weekend.
Let's make it happen. We'll be back on Monday at 12 p.m. PST, 3 p.m. EST. Continue rocking it. It's going to be a great weekend. Keep your head up. Let's rock and roll.
Awesome.
Boom.
See you guys.
All right. What a great day. What a great, fantastic day.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Fun group.
How do I end this?